Breaker Crunchers.
Breaker.
It's Saturday night in Phoenix, Arizona, and welcome to another exciting new issue of Couch Crunchers, issue 97 to be exact. And you know what's 3 more from 97? 100.
Yeah, do.
We are almost at our 100th episode, which we have some surprises in store for that. But tonight we have, as you can see, to my left, to your screen's right, yes. I guess. Yes. My Max joined me at my house, and then we also got Sam and Tyler here. Scythe,
Scythe,
whatever.
I'll explain it later.
Should we start having dress rehearsals? Is that what we need to start doing?
You know, Lance, you're the one who wants to wing it.
I think I need a dress rehearsal, but yeah. So tonight, the 4 of us got together, just like old time. Yeah, no guests. It's just the 4 of us. The original. Well, we're not the original Crunchers, but Crunchers 2.0, I guess you could say.
50% original, 50% amazing new blood.
But tonight we're going to talk about the movie Extraction on Netflix, starring Chris Hemsworth, which Max and I just watched about 5 minutes ago, and he's already leaving, guys. This is
close the door.
This is becoming a normal thing where Max is here for the first 5 seconds and he just books it.
Here's the deal, okay? Here's the thing. The door was open, and Lance's devil kids are going to come back any minute, and it's going to be hell out.
Oh, Lance's kids are sweethearts. How dare you?
I love his kids. I can say it. That's why
I'm gonna love the day when Max's own child turns into Max's devil child.
Hey, 3 months from now, you're going to say it. 3 months from now, I should have a kiddo.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about Extraction, which was a very fun movie, and but first we're going to talk about what we're watching. So I know on the agenda, Sam and Matt really want to talk about Better Call Saul. So you guys have been watching this show. Sam has been a huge fan of Better Call Saul for a while now, got you into it. I have been meaning to watch it. What's going on with Better Call Saul? No spoilers, please.
Okay, so Harry and Ron come in and they kill Saul.
With a Patronus?
With a Patronus. No. So if you don't know
Saul's a Dementor now?
Yeah. He's about as evil as one, but a lot cooler.
Walter White's alive, guys.
Yeah, so if you don't know, Better Call Saul is a prequel to Breaking Bad. It's about Saul Goodman, the attorney, and it's great. It's a lot of fun. Sam's been talking about it for a long time, and so I thought, you know what, it's time to finally sit down and watch this. So I think after the last show I was on, so 2 weeks ago, after the last show, I stayed up until about 2-3 a.m. that morning watching the show because I turned it on. I was like, whoa, this is great. I just kept watching. And then ever since then, I've been kind of watching it steadily over the last 2 weeks, and I'm almost caught up entirely with season 5. So I'm like halfway through episode 7, and they're 10-episode seasons. So if you have Netflix, the first 4 seasons are on there. It is a great show. It's a lot of fun. I haven't watched Breaking Bad in a long time. My memory says Breaking Bad is better, but Better Call Saul is extremely good.
So I watched Breaking Bad all the way through about 3 or 4 months ago, while I was also watching Better Call Saul, and they are both neck and neck in my view. I think
and the vibe is so similar,
so good. And season 5 kicks it up like 10 notches. It is so good. I am so excited for you. I wish I could watch it again for the first time. That's how good it is. There's some scenes coming up with a character named Lalo Salamanca that are so memeable, and they're so great, dude. You're gonna love Lalo Salamanca by the end of this. And then Kim Wexler is gonna throw so many curveballs at you, Max. I'm in love with Kim Wexler as a character. She's so good. She's so complex.
She is.
You have no idea what's driving her.
You never know what she's thinking. One moment is she going to be the perfect princess, and the other moment is she going to be just as crooked as him? Like it's just now she's never as crooked as him, but yeah. Anyway, it's a very fascinating show. And
I'll just say this: early in the season, I was fearing for Kim Wexler. By the end of the season, I'm afraid of Kim Wexler.
Yeah, the characters are so good. And in case you didn't know, this is revealed in the first episode, and it's revealed in Breaking Bad too. Saul Goodman's real name is Jimmy McGill, and in Breaking Bad, he's always been going by the moniker of Saul Goodman, so that's how you know him. And so it was really confusing because since this is a prequel, he's always going by Jimmy McGill, and I'm like, what the heck? When is he going to be Saul Goodman? And I won't talk about when that happens in case that's like a spoiler to you. But I searched it online and could never find out when does he actually become Saul? When does he actually become Saul? And it was a fun moment when it finally happened. So I guess you'll at least know that in season 5 he is, but when it happens before that, I won't say. But it's been a really cool journey to see how he becomes who he is. And I actually rewatched the episode of Breaking Bad where Saul's introduced. I think it's like the second episode of season 2 or something like that. And so it's been kind of fun because I just had his original origin reintroduced to me. And now I'm starting to see some of the things he's doing in this show that lead him to where he is in that first episode of Breaking Bad. And it's pretty cool. So it's a really good show. If you like Breaking Bad, I think you'll love Better Call Saul.
Okay, so can
two
we
episodes.
Just
a second. There's 2 episodes coming up. Max hasn't seen them yet. Season 5, episode 8 is called Bagman. It is dynamite. And then the episode after that, called Bad Choice Road, is even better. The finale is not quite as good as Bad Choice Road, but it is still really, really good. So Max is in love with the show, and he hasn't even seen the best episodes yet. So if you're not checking it out,
I had heard some people say, Lance included, that it's slow in the first season.
But so was Breaking Bad.
I don't know that I agree. I didn't find it slow at all in the first season. It's weird because I tried to watch the show 3 years ago or something, and I stopped 10 minutes into the first episode. So maybe the first episode is kind of slow, but once I got through the first episode, I was hooked. I was good to go. I was loving it.
I got so hyped when it was announced, and I watched like the first 5 or 6 episodes on like as they aired, right? Mm-hmm. And for some reason, I just fell out. I don't know if they took like a short break in between them or something like that, but I never got back into it. And then by the next thing I knew, it was 2.5 seasons in or whatever it was.
I can't believe I've been sleeping on this show.
Yeah, I fully intend to watch it because I'm a big Breaking Bad fan, and I feel like Sam is going to unfriend me if I don't watch it. So I need to see it.
You're next on the chopping block for sure.
Well, it's crazy because I'm a huge The Last Kingdom fan, and I've been really looking forward to the 4th season ever since the last one came out. And the last season released last Friday, and I haven't watched a single episode because I can't stop watching Better Call Saul.
Oh man.
Yeah, I fully intend on watching it, but there's so much I have to catch up on. So, but before I get into what I've been catching up on, Tyler, I'd like to.
Tyler was asking a question a second.
Oh, you kind of answered it already. Because I was watching it with my wife, and we watched the first season, and I think some of the second season, and we kind of felt like it was slow a little bit, and because it was just a lot of like him looking up to his brother and wanting to be as good as his brother, and then he finds out these people are scamming old people, so he starts working with them, and he's really bored working with them, and it was just this like kind of slow cycle. And like I was trying to like find where it was picking up, and so I was trying to see like what you guys thought of that, but you kind of already answered that you didn't really feel like it was slow.
I didn't feel like it was, but if you don't like that stuff, it definitely picks up soon.
Yeah,
well, you stop right when it's about to pick up.
And Breaking Bad did the same thing for me. I think I watched the first 5 episodes and then stopped. And then like a year or 2 later, I watched them again. It took me 3 tries to get into Breaking Bad past the 5th episode.
And as far as Better Call Saul goes, season 2 is considered the slowest of the seasons. So if I had to label them, well, no, season 3 I would say is probably the slowest, but the seasons are the best season so far is season 5, then season 4, then probably season 2, then season 3, and season 1 would probably be the weakest in my book. But they do pick up, but they're all really highly rated on IMDb. I don't think any episode is rated below an 8 out of 10. They're all very good.
Depends on what you're looking for. You know, it is. I think it has the same vibes as Breaking Bad, but it's not quite the same as Breaking Bad because it's not only dealing with like the drug underworld. It deals slightly with that, but it's mostly about Saul Goodman and his journey.
Yeah, I can see how it has a similar tone. But yeah, it was just, you know, like, and I still want to watch it, but I was kind of waiting for my wife to like get, because it was kind of something we were watching together, and so I'm probably going to end up watching it by myself because I don't know that she's going to have the motivation. But she was a huge Breaking Bad fan, so that's kind of why I wanted to.
It is different from Breaking Bad. I feel like it's got a different tone than Breaking Bad. There's a lot of similar themes, but the tone is different. I feel like Better Call Saul has, for the most part, been more lighthearted.
That is funnier for sure.
Well, that's that actor. That actor is
Bob Odenkirk. Is that what you're talking about?
you have to be somewhat lighthearted with him.
Well,
and the episodes that he's in or in Breaking Bad, I feel like are a little bit more lighthearted too. Like, you know, so
yeah.
Season 4 is really good though.
I mean, am I mistaken? But was he an SNL writer at one point, or did he write on some? He wrote some sitcom.
I don't know.
Bob Odenkirk.
He and David Cross had like a sketch comedy show at one point. It's not anything great.
Well, I know he's a good friend of Conan O'Brien, and I thought that's where they had met, but I'm not sure.
Oh,
but
anyway, the point is, we love it.
Okay.
What have you been watching, Tyler?
I've been watching the Clone Wars. So
yes, the last episode was so good.
I feel like the last 2 or 3 episodes were so good, you know, like, so I just caught up with it. The first half of this season was just so boring.
For me, here's how it was. The first 4 episodes, good. The next 4, terrible. The last 3, amazing.
Yeah, the last 3 have been like the thing is, like, I wanted more substance and I wanted more like connection with the Force. I wanted more of the storylines that we haven't seen, like the Darth, you know, what's happening with Darth Maul, what's really been going on with Ahsoka. I don't care about her stupid friends that she made on that. That was stupid stories. It was a waste of time.
Yeah.
But like the last few episodes, they've been money. Like, they've been so good. So yeah, I'm excited to see more. I also coincidentally just finished rewatching Scrubs. And then Lance put up that post. Unfortunately, Sam Lloyd died. The guy.
Oh man, I know.
Yeah.
Ted Buckland from Scrubs, hilarious character. Sam Lloyd is the actor. He's actually Christopher Lloyd's nephew. He died.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, and it's been reported for about a year or so now that he had that inoperable brain tumor.
Yeah.
So it was kind of known that it was going to happen. So I wasn't extremely shocked. It was weird, the timing with all this stuff going on, but even still, I mean, I have the blanks on my Apple Music, and I immediately put it on. I was listening to the blanks all day.
Yeah, that's his acapella band for you that don't know, and they're great. And he's hilarious, and he's a great singer, and he was a wonderful character on Scrubs. You know, my wife and I quote his lines all the time because he's just so funny. Or like anytime I want to whine, you know, or like jokingly whine, I'll be like, oh, and that's like what he does on the show, and it's a hard one.
He's kind of Scrubs' version of Toby, I feel like, from The Office. Like, I feel like the two of them are similar.
Sack,
yeah,
but he's
kind of similar.
Way more exaggerated.
Toby was less entertaining for sure. But I love all those characters. Like the janitor is my favorite. Like janitor is my favorite character in the show. Yeah. Love that guy, and the way that those characters all come together and mesh. Like, they're all so different, but they all made this cohesive, hilarious show together is really good. So,
well, I'm going to throw this out there, and I'm sure the next episode they're going to talk a lot about Sam Lloyd. There's actually a Scrubs rewatch podcast that just came out about a month ago called Fake Doctors, Real Friends, and it has Zach Braff and Donald Faison, who play JD and Turk in the show.
I'll definitely be listening to that.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite characters.
Yeah, and
I might be completely like on the bandwagon, but JD and Turk are amazing.
They're awesome, and they're great, and their podcast is a lot of fun to listen to. My wife and I have been listening to each episode. We've been rewatching the show with them, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm really I don't want to say looking forward to the next episode because it's really sad that Sam Lloyd died, but I'm sure they're going to be paying tribute to him in some way. And that'll be great because they knew him. They actually knew the guy, whereas I just know him from screen. And anyway, that's called Fake Doctors, Real Friends. It's a really fun podcast, and for Scrubs fans, you'll love it because Turk and JD, the actors, Zach Braff and Donald Faison, are legitimately best friends, and you can tell.
Do they still do the Eagle? That's what I'm wondering.
You know what? That gives me a good idea. I should call in and ask. They let callers call in and talk to them and ask them questions. That's a good one.
But so I have been catching. I just want to clarify. So Bob Odenkirk, one of his first gigs was writing for the Dennis Miller Show, Saturday Night Live, and Conan O'Brien. So I thought I was worried that I was making that up, dude. So I wanted to clarify. But
we can't move on unless Lance fact checks himself.
I have to fact check myself because Matt's listening there like, oh, I'm gonna get Lance.
Spot on impression.
I need to check Snopes. But I have been so I finished Doom Patrol a couple weeks ago, which Doom Patrol is fantastic. And then I'm glad that I watched Doom Patrol first because then I'm watching Titans now.
There's a delay on the podcast, and as soon as you started talking about your fact checking, Matt chimed in and says, "Oh my gosh, Lance, shut up! No one cares." I'm sure that it was at that moment that he started typing. I'm just waiting.
Please shut up, Lance!
All right.
So I've been watching Doom, or I finished Doom Patrol, and I'm glad that I watched Doom Patrol before I saw Titans, because I had to ask you about this. So I'm watching Titans right now, and Titans has been very, very good. Not as good as Doom Patrol, but still pretty good. They have an episode where they do like a proof of concept with the Doom Patrol, and that came out before Doom Patrol, right?
I did.
Yeah, I am so happy that I watched it in reverse order because it would have made me never watch Doom Patrol.
That's the worst episode of the show. The Doom Patrol episode of Titans is terrible. And it does not make you want to watch Doom Patrol.
Yeah, so I don't know. Tyler, have you watched either of these shows?
I watched Doom Patrol a little bit ago, but it was like, it's one of those things where I kind of had it in the background while I was doing stuff. So I wasn't fully paying attention to it, unfortunately.
So it is by far one of the weirdest shows I've ever seen. I mean, there's a gateway through a donkey's throat, and you exit out of his butthole, and like there's a swarm of butts that come in to eat people, and like there's just like there's a woman that like just turns to like this gelatinous glob like whenever. It's just insane. I'm pretty sure that Brendan Fraser's character like has the hots for that.
He's the robot, right? Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, he's by far one of the best parts.
I don't think he has the hots for Jane. I think
it's like a father-daughter thing, but sometimes it gets a little awkward.
Yeah.
So it's like Trump and Ivanka, like.
But then in Titans they do this one episode where it's proof of concept, and they kind of do it to kind of introduce. I mean, they introduced Beast Boy before, but they kind of do it to give Beast Boy kind of like this back story a little bit. They use the Doom Patrol to do it, and it's a different actor, so it's not crap. Why am I not thinking of the Timothy Dalton? It's not his. He's not the actor that plays Niles Crane. Cyborg is nowhere to be found, but yet Beast Boy is part of it. But now they've come out and said it's two different universes.
Yeah, which is weird.
Which is stupid. because I thought the whole streaming service is called DC Universe, so you think it would be the same universe, but apparently I'm an idiot. So whatever.
Well, that's what
I know
DC
Matt thinks so.
when they can't make something cohesive, they just go, "Oh, separate universes." Like, that's what they do. That's like their go-to thing.
Yeah. So if you have any intention on watching these shows, watch Doom Patrol first, because Titans will put a bad taste in your mouth when it comes to Doom Patrol. But this season has been bonkers. So I'm in the second season. I think I've got like 4 episodes left. Raven is finally coming into her own of like who she is, and like there's been a whole influx of all these
episodes left.
I think there should be 15 episodes, right?
I can't remember how many there were.
I think I'm on the episode 11 of season 2. So there's all these new characters are coming in. I mean, we get introduced to Aqualad, and we get introduced to all these different people, and it's just a fun show.
It's really good. Just the last episode is awful.
I'm not sure if DC Universe is worth the amount of money that they're asking you to pay, because there's just not enough new material on there.
There's 13 episodes.
Okay, so I've got like 2 left.
Yeah.
So there's not enough new material on there, but if they do have a 1-week trial, I would recommend everybody check it out. And if they like it, watch the rest of the show. The first season of Titans is on Netflix, though.
Oh, it is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And I know it's all supposed to be available on HBO Max.
We're all in lockdown, man. So 1 week free trial is like nothing to bust out 13.
Well, and like it's been kind of nice, because it's been my opportunity to like catch up on a bunch of stuff I've been meaning to watch. So I've been watching the Harley Quinn cartoon show as well, and that one's bonkers. Everything DC Universe, their original stuff, has just been bonkers, and I fully intend to watch Swamp Thing.
Well, what you're talking about sounds like they just took a superhero concept and said, let's throw some South Park in it. That's what it sounds like.
No, you gotta watch it, because I'm not doing it any justice, and because I'm trying to be very vague.
It's amazing. Bane is hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, are you talking about Harley Quinn?
Yeah, what did you say?
I thought you were talking about Doom Patrol.
No, Harley
Doom
Quinn.
Patrol, yeah, that's what
I was talking about the goat, and like it has a gateway in its throat, and they're saying that's very South Park. Harley Quinn is ridiculous. Like they just it's just a satirical view of all these characters.
Yeah. The Bane guy does a basically satire version of
Tom Hardy. He talks like this. It's like, I'm gonna blow up a football stadium.
I wonder how Tom Hardy feels about that character.
Makes me want to watch Rick and Morty, because I've never really been into adult cartoons, or at least not since like I was a teenager. I didn't watch them, and I'm remembering, oh yeah, adult cartoons are pretty funny.
Yeah, I fully intend on watching Bob's Burgers one of these days, because I hear that one's hilarious. And Rick and Morty just made its debut, I think, or it's about to. And I know people go crazy about Rick and Morty, but
people love it.
I tried watching the first like 2 episodes, and I was like, what the hell?
I just love the meme of the guy who says, "You son of a bitch, I'm in."
Well, but great discussion, guys. So let's get into the topic of our night. Chris Hemsworth's Netflix debut, I guess. He hasn't really done a Netflix original before, has he?
Nope,
yeah.
not.
I don't know.
So, yeah.
So this movie's called Extraction. It's very action packed. It kind of has it's almost like they tried to make like a Sicario type, drug cartel thriller type movie. Like I would say it's kind of similar to that, but not as dark, obviously. But
I mean, drugs were not really a big.
No, but it's 2 rival cartels, kind of, I guess you would say. Like,
yeah, you're right.
So I kind of got those kind of vibes with Sicario, but the movie follows Chris Hemsworth, who's an ex-special forces or something like that, and his
character's name is Tyler Rake.
Yeah.
Tyler Rake. He was named after 2 garden implements. That's why
Tyler.
Weeder Scythe. Got it.
Got it. Weeder Scythe.
Oh man.
What's the Tyler garden reference?
Tiller.
Oh, is that his name, Tiller?
Well, it's Tyler.
His name is Tyler, which is 1 letter different from Tiller.
I was like, I watched that whole movie. I swear they said Tyler. Oh, that went like this.
I actually
That's
wrote on his
hilarious.
Instagram page because the kid says, "You don't look like a Tyler," and I said, "I think you look like a Tyler."
Stream on, Tyler.
So this movie is based on a graphic novel. They did take some liberties with it from what I was reading. I've never read the graphic novel, but it's very action paced. The whole thing I was worried about when I saw the trailer, I thought this was going to be like another Michael Bay type action movie because it's a lot of explosions and a lot of, guns and stuff like that. But I think it's a lot smarter than a typical Michael Bay.
Yeah, it was.
Michael Bay has nothing to do with this movie, by the way.
Didn't have nearly the budget. What I think is really cool, and you can tell, it's the directorial debut of, I think his name is Sam Hargrave, and he was the stunt. What was that?
He was in the movie too.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was the sniper with the big black beard.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, he was the stunt. He was the stunt coordinator for Endgame and Infinity War, and he occasionally was the stunt double for Chris Hemsworth at times. And I can tell now with that beard, he could definitely pull off a stunt double Thor. When you're moving quick. So I thought that was really cool, and that's why the action was so good, is because he has that background in making really heavy hitting good action. Of course, this time it's rated R, so it's got a little bit more blood to it. But I mean, action, a lot more. But it wasn't like over the top. I never got like Centurion as an example we use sometimes for you went a little too far with the blood and gore.
Titans.
Titans does sometimes too, sure. But like they used blood and gore, but it wasn't like crazy over the top in my opinion.
No, it's a typical action movie.
The action was the best part of the movie.
It had a lot of John Wick feelings with it, with some of the gunfighting. I felt like a little bit.
He did the same John Wick move. Chest shot, headshot. Like constantly choo.
Yeah, so I definitely got those vibes. But I rate all my action movies on the scale I call Michael Bay. How close is it to a Michael Bay movie and how far away? And the further you get away from the Michael Bay-ness, the more likely I am to watch it. So this is very far from the Michael Bay-ness. So I definitely recommend it to people.
Yeah, there was one shot that was way more Michael Bay, if you will, and it was the worst shot in the movie.
Yeah.
It was like the CGI was so bad. It's like after this 14-minute segment where you've got boots on the ground, into a car, boots on the ground again, back into a car.
You're talking about the digitally imposed explosion and smoke. Is that what you're talking about?
Car. It was awful. It made what was a really cool 14-minute one-shot segment and on a sour note.
Yeah, it does really stick out.
The van that got blown up or whatever.
Yeah, it was like a bus or something.
You can literally see that it looks like a CGI van that's scraping across the street in the last shot. Yeah, it didn't look bad. It looked real bad. But, I mean, the rest of the movie was really good.
It was a Netflix budget. They did an amazing job with what budget I'm sure they had.
Hey, Netflix is nothing to shirk at, dude. They throw
I know,
money.
but it's not like a Hollywood action movie budget. Like we could Google it, I'm sure, but I doubt it rivals, like, using John Wick again. I doubt it rivals the John Wick budget. Granted, the first John Wick had quite a lower budget than this.
I thought that's what you were going to say. Is your scale for action movies was 1 to John Wick? That's
my scale.
Well, John Wick would be like the tip, of the away from Michael Bay. But like if you watch Ninja Turtles, I won't even watch that crap again.
The new ones. You're talking about the new ones.
The new ones, yeah.
You have to remind me about those because I just struck them from my memory. I was just immediately going back to 1990.
We were all offended because they're like 1990 Turtles is awesome, man.
The only thing that
Lance, the 1990s Ninja Turtles budget was
I'm gonna look at Snopes.
Okay.
No, the only thing that Michael Bay did good in that first Ninja Turtles movie, which was a stroke of genius and nobody would have thought it would have ever worked, was casting Johnny Knoxville as Leonardo. It totally worked. That's the only thing that I liked about that movie. Johnny Knoxville was the voice of Leonardo, and it worked. But sorry to derail us. You start getting me to Michael Bay, and I just go off in a tangent, man. I hate that guy with every fiber of my being.
Well, we haven't heard much. What did you think?
Lance is creating rivalries with people who don't know that Lance exists.
Oh man,
I hate him. He knows what he did.
It's like what's his face on Scrubs who hates Hugh Jackman.
Oh yeah, Dr. Cox.
Yeah, Dr. Cox.
I really want them to answer why the heck they put that in his monologues all the time. Like, what could you have against Hugh Jackman?
That's hilarious.
He knows what he did.
He knows what
So, yeah. So this movie, I mean, I think it's pretty intelligent. Like, it's not as smart as Sicario or anything like that. The story's pretty simple. They're a rescue unit that's been sent to extract this kid. It's in the name. They extract this kid from this rival cartel to bring him back to his family, and then chaos ensues from that point. Nothing goes to plan. I mean, it's all. I think at one point he goes, "I'm in survival mode now." I think he says that in the car at some point, and that's exactly what it felt like.
If you wanted to put a story on Rainbow Six Siege, when you go in and extract a hostage, this movie would be the storyline you'd put in there. That's kind of the vibe I got from some of the scenes.
Yeah.
It's simplistic, but it was fine.
It was fun, though. There was points where Max and I were watching, like, holy crap, that was awesome.
Yeah, because of the action.
Yeah.
Like that part where he takes another guy's body, swings it around, and basically cracks the guy's head down.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh, that was such a cool shot.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah. There were some really great action scenes that I think they did a good job, too, at the beginning of, like, telling who the kid was and kind of making a connection with the kid. Yeah. But I don't feel like they did a very good job of making that connection with Chris Hemsworth's character. And they just they just showed him jumping into water. Like, oh, that guy can jump real far and hold his breath.
It wasn't until later in the movie that I started to develop more of a connection for him. I could tell they were trying to build towards something with the whole flashback stuff, but it wasn't.
You're kind of questioning, like, what's this guy's deal? What I thought was really weird was how the young boy, like, he trusted Chris Hemsworth character way quicker than he ever trusted the other guy that's worked for his father for years, and, like, you know what I mean? Like, it felt like, I'll do whatever Chris Hemsworth says, and I know that guy, and I know that guy won't hurt me, but I'm still going to do whatever Tiller says. So,
Rick.
But you know what I mean? Like, did it feel like that kid was, like, way too quick to, like, jump on Chris Hemsworth's back?
Well, let's be real here. Men, a lot of times, words fail us, and so we have to speak with our fists, and that's really the main storytelling device here. Is they're not using words, they're not using speeches or monologues. You're just seeing Chris Hemsworth tell the story with his fists, and it's a compelling story. It's not real. It's not real deep. It's not real deep, but you can get behind it because he's telling it with his fist, and that's something that
was awesome, dude. He's telling the whole story with his fist, and it's really compelling.
No, it's fun. It's a fun story, and he doesn't have to say a whole lot. I mean, compare this to like a Taken, right? Compare this to Taken, where you have this really great monologue from Liam Neeson's character. He's talking to the kidnapper, and he says, "I have a particular set of skills," right? And that is the most memorable dialogue from that movie. In this movie, I don't remember any of the lines. I remember exactly 0 of them. But I remember how I felt when I saw him jump off that huge cliff in butt-puckering, stunning visuals. He jumps off that cliff into the water, and he sits at the bottom of the lake, and it's really, really cool. It's really stunning. That 11 or 14-minute sequence of the chase through the city once he picks up the kid is also very stunning. The scene with the rake, I was why did they call him Tyler Rake? I thought it was a nickname because he likes to kill people with rakes.
Which he does.
He does kill a guy with a rake.
Click until right now.
No, that's like his name is Rake. It's not like he's the rake that goes around killing people with rakes, but he happens to kill a guy with a rake, and it's like, okay, like.
That was.
I can't. That's really, that's too tongue in cheek, right? You can't just kill a guy with a rake and call him Rick.
I think it's a lot more intense killing somebody with a pencil, though. So I mean, we gotta figure out where that is on the 1 to John Wick scale.
What I'm saying is there are no lines in this movie that you're gonna go home with going, "Oh, what a cool line! What a memorable line!"
The one
Go
the
ahead.
boy said
Yeah, that was the only one I was thinking
about
of.
drowning. I really like that.
You don't
line.
drown by falling in the lake. You drown by staying submerged or something like that.
Submerged in it.
Right.
That's the only one I remember from the whole thing.
And everything else is just memorable action. That's what I'm saying. Is telling a story with his fists, with the action, and that's something that John Wick does really well. But at the same time, John Wick has really memorable lines that go with it, right? So on the one hand, the action is very good. It's very high intensity. It allows us to see who the good and the bad guys are pretty quickly. But at the same time, there's no dialogue that you're gonna be sharing with your friends, or that you're gonna be memeing with your friends, 3 months or 6 months from now.
All I'm gonna say is Chris Hemsworth took a dude and broke another dude in half with that dude. That's why you should watch this movie.
And it seemed totally plausible at the same time.
He literally broke that dude in half with another dude.
You're like, yeah, look at that guy. I can see him doing that.
But yeah, Max and I were both like, "Oh!" Like in that scene, like it was the same.
That was compelling.
Yeah.
Well, the rake scene was another one. You got the guy's eye like right above the rake, and then I was really glad when they did it more off camera because I cannot see eyes get punctured. That's too much, man. That's just gross.
Yeah, it reminded me of, obviously not as well done, but it was still a cool scene. But
John Wick 3.
No,
that's
in
I
Extraction,
was thinking that too.
there's a scene in Saving Private Ryan where he's slowly driving a knife.
Oh,
into that
yeah.
guy's
Oh yeah, that
I
scene made me never want to watch Saving Private Ryan again.
I still can't watch that scene. Like, it's horrific. But that's anytime I see like a slow go like thing like that, I automatically think of that Saving Private Ryan scene every single time. Yeah,
but it had some not just Chris Hemsworth's character Tyler, but I think it was Sajan or something like that. The special agent guy that was working for
the father.
The father. He had some real cool action sequences too. There was one part where Lance had to tell me how I was wrong. So I was like, did he just stab a guy in the balls? Mm-hmm. But really what it was is there's an artery in your thigh. It looks like the guy was going for. It just I liked the precision that you could see that, this guy is supposed to be special forces. He knows how to efficiently kill people. So he's going to stab you in your artery in your thigh so that he knows you're going to bleed out from it and stuff like that. I just thought that, like you said, Sam, the action in this was really good, and it told the story better than the lines did.
Yeah,
because you got I don't even know that John Wick has the best lines ever, but I can definitely remember Keanu Reeves saying, "People keep asking me if I'm back."
Yeah,
I'm back.
Well, and that's what's so awesome about John Wick is that the lines in it are pretty cheesy. Right?
Absolutely, they're supposed to be.
He killed my dog. You know what I mean? That's what's beautiful about John Wick is that the whole premise of it is absolutely cheesy
because it's set in this fantastical world, and it's
but we get signed up so quick. This has a little bit more sense of realism to it as far as the issue that's going on. Nobody's going to go on a killing spree because their dog got killed, right?
I mean, maybe.
Well, I don't think so, bro.
I don't know, Lance. After watching that, I think it could happen.
Yeah, it seems totally plausible. I love the Russian guy in the beginning of John Wick 2. That Russian guy that just randomly shows up in a bunch of movies.
Oh yeah, he's in everything.
He's hilarious, but I love it. He's just he's telling him, "Oh yeah, he once killed a guy in a bar, or 3 guys in a bar," and they're like, "I know, a pencil," and he's like, "An effing pencil."
I just want to say the Joker did it first.
That's true. The Joker did.
Want to see a magic trick?
I'm gonna make this pencil.
That was only one dude, though.
Yeah, but that dude never knew he was even in a fight. John Wick's dude knew he was getting his ass kicked. That other Joker was just like, "Hey, what's up, dude?" Bah! You did. Oh man, one of these days we're gonna have to do a show where we just watch all 3 Batman movies and dissect them.
That'd be fun.
That'd be a fun show to do.
during quarantine, I'd be down to start doing that in the next couple weeks. We don't have anything else to do.
That'd be a fun.
Let's watch the Batman trilogy, the Nolan trilogy.
Yeah. And then we'll watch Batman Forever and discuss why one's good and one's not. Is it Batman Forever? That's the one with
the Schwarzenegger one. I can't remember.
Yeah,
what are you talking about? Bat nipples? Is that what you're after?
Is it Bat Nipples? Is it George Clooney or Val Kilmer? Which one is?
They both
Oh,
have
bat nipples.
Yeah.
But one was introduced halfway through the movie, right? Like when he gets a new suit or something like that. I think we talked about this before.
Yeah, Val Kilmer gets a suit later.
Those are the Joel Schumacher ones, right?
Yeah.
Absolute piles of garbage.
Yeah.
I mean, they just kind of harken back to the campiness. But
I loved them as a kid. I loved them because I was like 11 years old, and it was Batman. I loved it.
Although Tommy Lee Jones' Two-Face was pretty awesome.
I watched it again as an adult. I don't really like it.
I haven't seen it in probably 20 years.
Yeah, watch it again. You may not think it was that great.
And I remember I had a huge crush on Alicia Silverstone, and I'm not sure that that's going to be the same now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. She was hot in the Batgirl suit, dude.
I don't remember ever thinking that.
Nobody has a clueless
I mean, I know
infatuation.
Where are we going with this?
What
are we doing?
Yeah, dude. We were talking about a story that's told completely with fists.
And now Lance is like, how can I tell
And
a
I've
story
derailed
with
the
Leah
conversation again, dude. I shouldn't be running this show. I'm just a derailer.
Lance
That's
is
what
in
I
a
am.
constant state of horniness.
Yeah.
All right, so let me ask you guys this. What did you think of the dubious ending?
How he just kind of falls. We're spoiling this right now, right?
Yeah, we should put up the spoiler tag.
I didn't prep any of those. Max usually does that, and I can't see half my screen. Will you do it? Here.
Sure.
Because you can see the whole monitor.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, so we're going to get into spoilers. The tag's not on the bottom of the screen yet, but so yeah, I kind of had a forward.
Well, before we get to the ending, let's put the spoiler tag up, and then I got another question before we talk about the ending.
All right. Go ahead.
I'm trying them.
Go ahead and ask your question, Sam.
Okay, so about halfway through the movie, we get in touch with David Harbour's character.
Yeah.
They go to him for like a safe house, and David Harbour starts talking to Tyler Rake, Chris Hemsworth character, about killing the kid and collecting the reward as being the most humane thing that they could do for that kid. And then Chris Hemsworth, who's apparently known David Harbour's character for a long time, protects the kid and fights him off. What did you guys think about that scene?
I never in 1,000 years would think that David Harbour could ever beat Chris Hemsworth's ass. Chris Hemsworth should have handedly taken care of him.
I was confused at first. But then they started giving us a little bit more, of the story and understanding that, first of all, he works, he's worked for the cartel guy or whatever, the drug guy. And then also the fact that he says, if I don't do this, they're going to kill my wife. So I liked that his character had some motivations beyond just like money, or things like that. Like he wanted to save his wife. That's why he was so adamant about it. I thought it was an okay scene. I didn't have an issue with David Harbour's character beating up Chris Hemsworth. I thought the fight was fairly even, until the end when the kid had to save the day. But I thought it was okay. I liked it.
It felt weird.
Think?
It felt weird, like putting David Harbour of all people, because it was such a small role. I almost was thinking, like, did he have to do this to fulfill something in his Netflix contract? Like, what is he? Why is he here? Like, why didn't they get some guy that probably way cheaper to just do this scene, like to only have him in the movie for, I don't know, 5 seconds?
You think David Harbour is a huge name that he
around Netflix always?
He's not Chris Hemsworth, but he's getting bigger.
But around Netflix,
he kind of made his name on Netflix, though. Like,
he
I
made
know he was
Netflix
before
and
Stranger
Things.
Captain Netflix, dude.
But let's not forget that he was also the captain of the Hellboy ship that sank last year.
But
were you on that show that we covered that one?
No.
You're lucky. Tyler, you and I saw that together, right?
Yeah. And we both were kind of like, not the best thing in the world, but
That's what makes me worried about the
think
Black Widow movie.
What did you think of that scene, Sam?
So I guess the thinking that I had is how does that particular scene color your view of Chris Hemsworth character Tyler Rake? Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Because he's willing to rescue a kid versus and kill this other guy, sacrifice David Harbour and David Harbour's wife to save this kid who he's essentially he was paid to save, but then half of the payment didn't come through, so now he's doing it pro bono, I guess. And I was wondering what you guys thought about his morality at that point.
I thought it was the noble thing to do. I thought his morality was intact. I think letting the kid die would have been the more immoral thing to do.
I think once he says, "Let's just go up there and put a bullet in this kid's brain," I think that Tiller Rake is starting to see. I know I'm going to call him that for the rest of the show, dude, because now I can figure it out. I think he's starting to see, oh, maybe my friend's not as good as I thought he was. Like, he's just willing to go kill this kid, right? So I think, we just a few minutes before that, we saw the story. He told the story about his own son and what had happened with the lymphoma and stuff like that. And I think he sees this as another opportunity. He wasn't there during his son's death, and he's not going to abandon this kid like he did his son. So I think there's a certain amount of nobility
That's what
to
I
it.
liked about it. The son, you could tell throughout the movie, he didn't want to, he would hurt kids because they were trying to kill him, but he wasn't going to kill any kids because of his own son. And you could tell.
And ultimately it gets him, we think, killed.
He's dead. I don't think there's going to be a sequel to this.
You think he's dead?
I don't know.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second. But
He's alive.
I want to hear from Tyler too.
Well, honestly, my first thought from it was, okay, so he hires this guy to go and rescue this guy, but only pays him half, and then they stops the whole extraction by hiring another team to stop his team. And so he gets the call that, the money's not coming through, and then he has to make this decision on whether or not he's going to help this kid. And my thought is, well, why didn't he just pay him the rest of the money? Because he had to pay this other team to stop his team.
No, he had
one guy, and that guy already worked for him, and he was doing it for free because he was going to get his family killed.
Right.
That guy already worked for him. You see that in the beginning of the movie.
The other guy was forced. The other guy was forced to do it for free.
Yeah.
Wait, but wasn't that guy talking to his wife and saying, "This is how much money we have, and we have to spend it to hire this guy"? Right? And he's like, "It's not going to be
that kid's father."
What's that?
We never meet that kid's father.
He's in jail. The kid's father's in jail.
Okay, so what's the guy's name who is fights Chris Hemsworth at first, and then they team up? Sajin. So Sajin is talking to his wife, and he's like, "We have this much money. It's not going to be enough to rescue the kid, but I think I have an idea." So he hires Chris Hemsworth, right?
So he uses the money they do have to pay the first half of the payment.
Right. Then how did he hire the other team to fight Chris Hemsworth's team?
There's no other team. It's the same guy.
There's no other team.
There's the bad guys. There's the kidnappers.
He takes out Chris Hemsworth's team all by himself?
Yes.
There's the kidnappers.
One guy.
Yeah, he did it all.
And there's the mercenaries.
So this guy's like Mel Gibson in freaking The Patriot. He's like,
He was bad.
So that guy has his wife and child at home. He pays his own money to give the first half of the payment to Chris Hemsworth's team. And then because he doesn't have the rest of the money, gets them to do all the dirty work, and then goes in there and starts killing Chris Hemsworth's team to take the pay, to pay the other half.
So you made it make sense. I thought he had a whole team that
one dude.
There's three factions. So you have the mercenaries, you have the kidnappers, and then you have Sajin, who's the guy whose life depends on the success of this mission.
Right.
Not just his life, his wife,
His family's life. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. That makes more sense now. Anyway, moving on. I was really conflicted. Like I didn't I mean, like I didn't like that. I'm just gonna call him Hopper because I feel like his name should be Hopper and everything. But I didn't like that, Hopper's wife was in trouble. She seemed super nice and everything. But then at the same time, I'm like, you're kind of like an immoral mercenary who kind of put yourself in that position. Whereas this is like an innocent kid who didn't do anything that Chris Hemsworth is protecting, So it was like a little bit of a catch-22, but I was still kind of like Team Tiller, And,
well, how could you not be? I mean, Chris Hemsworth has that chiseled jawline and like.
Well, yeah,
I had to fan off Max a couple times. I thought he was gonna like just fall. If Jason Momoa would have been in this movie, Max would have been done for.
Oh, yes, it's so funny.
I don't go for the big buff guys. I mean, look at my hetero life mate here. I go for the chunky one.
What are you talking about? This may look like hard,
man.
Solid muscle.
Let's not get physical, boys.
Oh, I have to call the authorities. Max is inappropriately touching me. All right, let's move on.
All right, so I have another question. What did you feel about the kid who cut his finger off?
That kid was an idiot.
He was psycho, man.
How did you feel about that guy?
Well, first he's standing on the roof and the guy says, "Cut 2 of your fingers off because I want everybody to know what happens when you steal from me." Well, the kid never stole from him, so that was stupid. But he gets away with it. He doesn't have to cut 2 fingers off, right? Because we see him later as he's letting that guy into the taxi cab. He still has all his fingers because that whole scenario gets interrupted. Then the kid voluntarily goes and cuts off one of his fingers because the kid's a moron, And then he's ultimately the one that shoots him in the neck. Yeah, I'm like, okay, this kid should have died when he got his heads. It's got to be all slush up there, so he should have died when he got his head kicked in with the window of the car.
Number 1 rule in life: don't cut off any of your fingers unless you have to.
You got 10 boys.
No. The number one rule in life that this kid reminds us of is that no good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah,
that's true.
So
let me say, as someone who has lost a finger, it's not fun. Don't do it.
Chris Hemsworth is being patient with the kids. He specifically goes out of his way not to kill any of those kids who attack him. And the leader of them is the one who cut his finger off, right? But because Chris Hemsworth let him live, there's that scene on the bridge.
Well, and he lets that kid live in the beginning, a different kid. Was that kid the one that got thrown off the building in the beginning or something like that? Because I felt like that kid was going to be a payoff.
Let's go over the structure of that particular scene. So the henchman is looking at all these kids, and he's wanting to know who stole money from the gang, from the mob. And so he picks up one of the kids and says, "If you don't tell me, I'm going to kill him." And all the kids just stand there. And then he picks up the kid and he throws him off the side of the building and kills him. And then the boss, who's sitting off to the side, says, you stole my money. One of you stole my money. You got to tell us who did it. And so the kid steps forward and he says, "The one who did it was the one you just threw over the side." He clearly did not steal the money. It was a tactic to stop the killing.
Right.
And so it didn't matter who stole the money. The fact of the matter is that kid thought of a way to save the rest of his gang.
Right.
And that's why, rather than kill all of them, the boss was like, okay, this is a smart guy. He's a survivor. Rather than kill you and all of your mates, I'm just going to have you cut off 2 of your fingers as penance for stealing my money. And then I'm going to put you to work. So it was a reward because otherwise all of them were going to die. That was
at the
2
hands
fingers
of
alive to all your friends. What?
At the hands of fat Indian Fabio? Did you guys not notice that guy? I'm like, who the hell is this? That guy had some of the best hair I've ever seen in my life.
Best hair since Rambo. But yeah, so that was the structure of that scene, is that the kid had to think on his feet and come up with a way to save all of his friends. And as a reward, rather than kill them all, he was going to just have the kid cut off 2 of his fingers. But then he ended up saving them and allowed the kid to live.
Well, is that scene connected to the scene in the beginning when Chris Hemsworth lets that other kid go away? When Chris Hemsworth first fights that room full of guys that's holding the main kid, right? There's another kid that's trying to shoot Chris Hemsworth, and it's just click, 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 right? And he says, "Get out of here," right? Because the gun wouldn't work. He takes the gun from him and says, "Get out of here." The next scene, they're on the roof. I wasn't sure if that kid had some sort of connection to the roof scene.
I'll be honest with you. I couldn't recognize that kid. I was looking for that same thing. Mm-hmm. I didn't see that particular kid in any other scenes in the rest of the movie. It may have been the case, but I don't know.
Maybe that scene was just to show like where Tyler's state of mind is, how he feels about children. That's pretty much the purpose of it.
He's trying to be consistent with the kind of tragedy that he's personally dealing with the loss of a child.
Yeah, that makes sense then. I mean, I was trying to think, that's going to come back to bite him in the ass eventually. It's this little skinny kid that didn't get a chance to shoot him in the beginning, but it was a completely different kid. So,
yeah, I think for me, one of the most interesting things about this movie and why I think maybe there is a little bit more depth to it than maybe we've been giving it credit is the fact that there's all these different levels of morality and things that Chris Hemsworth is willing to risk or willing to do. He certainly was willing to kill his friend to save the kid.
Right.
But these kids that were attacking him with deadly weapons, with firearms and guns, he was not willing to kill. And rather than hurt them permanently or kill them, he was just basically, tossing them to the side in a way that wouldn't damage them permanently. It was just meant to disarm them and maybe incapacitate them temporarily.
Yeah, knock the breath out of them or whatever.
He Mr. Miyagi them.
He even went out of his way not to punch one of the kids in the face, and he hit him in the stomach. I noticed, just to kind of like, let me get you out of the way, but I don't want to like hurt you too bad.
Yeah, but his friend David Harbour, who is actually probably making a lot of sense on a certain level, he had no problem fighting him and letting him die in order to save this kid who he barely knew.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. To a degree, David Harbour's character probably had a point. The young hostage kid was probably going to die no matter what. But I still think, like, from a morality perspective, like, you can't, Tyler did not want to just let a child die on his watch. Because who's to say that what David Harbour's character is saying is going to come to pass?
No, I agree. But I'm saying, like, there's like levels of morality that they're exploring here. Maybe not too in depth or in your face, but it was an interesting question for me.
Yeah,
because
black and white.
His own team was like, "Let the kid go. They didn't pay us. Let the kid go. He can fend for himself. If we're not getting paid, we're not dying for this kid." And Tyler Rake is going, "No way. We got to save the kid. We got to save the kid. We got a job to do." But he wasn't doing it because it was his job. Because he wasn't getting paid for his job.
Yeah.
He was doing it, and it kind of slowly through the story revealed to you that it's because he has a soft spot for kids.
Yeah.
And his morality wasn't about being a mercenary, and it wasn't about getting paid. He wasn't doing it for the dollar. He was doing it because this was a kid who needed help, and he wasn't there when his own kid needed help.
Yeah. So you said you wanted to talk about the end.
Yeah, so the ending. First off, the question is, does Tyler Rake live? Is he still alive?
I think there's a question, but I think
so. Let's set up the finale. So the theme, no good deed goes unpunished. The kid who cut off his own finger ends up putting the last bullet in Tyler Rake right through his neck.
Right.
And then Tyler Rake falls off a bridge into a river, supposedly to die. All right, so that finishes that theme. There's a lot of threads here that can keep going. They're not necessarily wound up perfectly in a bow, but there's a lot of threads that keep going. And then we see the team extract the kid, or what's left of Tyler Rake's team, extracts the kid. Kid is safe. Sagen is dead. Tyler Rake apparently dead, but what remains of the team ends up going back for revenge and killing the kidnapping drug lord. And then we see the kid. He's at a public swimming pool, and he takes a dive off the high dive. And as he emerges from the water, there's in the background, out of focus, what appears to be a very Norse-looking deity figure, perhaps even Chris Hemsworth.
I didn't notice that in the background.
I didn't notice that at all, but now I'm gonna go watch it again.
The only thing that made me think that maybe he was still alive was the line, because Chris Hemsworth, he throws himself into a river. Tyler throws himself into a river. And earlier in the movie, pretty much the only line that I remember is where the kid mentions, you don't drown by falling in a river, you drown by staying submerged in a river. And I was like, okay, well, he fell in a river, but is he going to stay submerged? And so that was the thing that made me think.
I look at it as
a bullet hole in his neck.
Agreed.
Here's the thing. Remember, the very first time we see Tyler Rake, he dives off the huge cliff, and he sits underwater for who knows how long. But it seems like he's very comfortable underwater.
Yeah. But is he very comfortable underwater after losing several liters of blood?
Here's the thing, though. Here's my take on it. Should he be dead? Yes.
Absolutely.
But when you watch a movie and you have a prominent character just fall off something and you don't see a dead body, he's still alive. There are two examples just in Star Wars. You got Darth Maul and you got Palpatine. You just fall down something and you just disappear, you're still alive. That's how movies work.
Well, okay, here's my answer. I think he's definitely alive. You want to know why? Extraction is now Netflix's biggest opening of all time, right? It beat Six Underground. They are definitely making a sequel.
All right.
Money talks, my friends. If this movie would have flopped, no sequel, Tyler's dead. But now it made a ton of money. It's being played in 90 million households, they're saying. They're making a sequel. Chris Hemsworth will be back as Tyler.
Yeah, and maybe we'll get to meet the real weeder scythe and all the rest of the implements.
Oh man.
Maybe his brother can come in and be.
I wish I could just spend a day in Sam's brain where he just thinks of stuff, because every week he has something he's named after garden utensils. The ring of knives is a donut.
I didn't even recognize him.
See the North God in the water.
It's true. You got to just watch it. You got to tie these little things together.
Your brain is on a totally another level, dude. And I just want to spend a day in there. I want.
You know what?
I just want
don't need to spend a day in my brain. You just need to spend an hour reading through a website called tvtropes.net. It will open your eyes as to a lot of these little devices, these little storytelling devices. Tyler's right. There's a rule in movies and stories where if you don't see a body, they're not dead. Until there's a body, they're not dead.
It's true.
So is Thanos dead?
What's that?
tvtropes.org.
Is Thanos dead?
Thanos is dead. You see his head come off in the movie.
Yeah, but later in the movie, you just see him float away, and we know the timelines. We know that timelines they go like this. They don't go like this, right?
No, he's dead. He's dead. You see it on screen. That's an on-screen death. He's dead.
I'm gonna have to set this up. It's the first one I can find that makes any sense. There is a brand of hose called Tiabo. So I think what they need to do in the sequel, they need to hire Liam Hemsworth, and his name should be Tiabo Rake. And then we've got a nice continuity going on.
Okay, I wish Matt was on or Max was on his own screen. I could put him in timeout right now. If I put him in timeout, I go in timeout. So
Shove him over.
let's just name him Garden Hose Rake.
I'm just saying, it fits the theme.
It is a theme.
Let's just name him Ho Rake and call it a day. No, he could be Howard Rake, and Howard short. Ho is short for Howard. There you go.
Boom. We did it. We did it.
This would satisfy. Satisfy Sam's need for
We gotta tell Netflix where they can send the check. We want the writer's credit. Send
for Howard Rake. Money.
I have a cousin named Howard. I never thought of shortening his name to Ho.
Oh, dude! Every Howard I meet, I hit. What's up, Ho?
Oh man!
It's the first two letters of anybody's name. What's up, Ma and Ty?
My name doesn't work great for that. It's a three-letter name. You can't really shorten it.
It doesn't matter.
All my names are elongated.
People still say "be right back." It's the same amount of syllables. Or they say "BRB." It's the same amount of syllables as "be right back."
Tyler,
Skip
to answer your question. Yeah, I misspoke. It's not tvtropes.net. It's tvtropes.org.
Okay, I was looking it up, so that's what I thought it was. tvtropes.org.
So should we go ahead and give our ratings?
Yeah, let's do it. Max is just going to completely blow past what I said a minute ago. I have this nickname that I think I'm the only human on planet Earth that can get away with saying it. And I don't even really get away. I still get a dirty look every time I say it. And he's going to completely just blow past it and not tell anybody on here what it is.
He likes to call me Maxi Pet.
Max, that's what I was thinking of from Get Smart.
Oh, dude. So we used to work at a aerospace repair facility, right? And there was this kid who we love this kid, but and when we all worked together, we hated this kid. And one time he heard me say it, and I felt so bad because I don't say this usually around other people. And then literally 2 or 3 days later, he said it to Max, and I've never seen him so pissed.
I don't even remember.
I was like,
pissed about it. I thought I just gave him a dirty look.
Yeah, you were mad.
Was I? Okay.
I guess maybe I just know you better than most people.
Yeah, fair enough.
That I know when you're mad. I got mad. I was like, hey, that's mine. You can't say that. I'm the only person that's allowed to say this.
And you know what? You guys remind me of Turk and JD a little bit.
That's why they're my favorite. Because
it's like somebody else calling Turk Chocolate Bear,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but we just need our doctorates, and then we could really be JD and Turk.
Oof, there you go.
Not happening.
Yeah, let's give our ratings. Let's start with Sam, since Sam, I like how Sam kind of breaks apart his rating system, so I like to hear from him. So
I thought it was a good time. Is it something that I'd watch again? Probably not, but I had a really good time watching it the first time around. It's not real deep, but it's a good way to spend a couple hours in lockdown. So I'll give it a 3 out of 5.
Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I'd give it maybe a 3.5.
Max?
Yeah, I'm thinking it deserves a nice 3 out of 5 maxi pads.
I love you, dude.
I think it was a good time. It wasn't exactly like Sam. It wasn't deep. The action was great. It was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed myself. I'll watch a sequel, but I'm not going to go back and rewatch this movie over and over.
You will go back and watch for that last scene, though, right? Where he
go back and watch for that scene.
Where he breaks back through the swimming pool, and there in the background.
It's on Netflix. If this was in theaters, I would not go back to theaters just to see if I could catch that.
Right.
You know, it's kind of mindless fun. It's not too smart, but it's not too stupid. I mean, it's Michael Bay's not involved, so I would give it probably a 3 out of 5. You know, but I mean, it's an easy watch.
3 out of 5 John Wicks.
3 out of 5 John Wicks.
Oh, come on! How many Stubers is it?
One.
Zero. It's zero Stubers.
It would probably take 100 Stubers to be as good as this movie.
No, Stuber was better in this. Stuber's a good time. Man. I like Stuber. It's hilarious.
Thank you, Max.
So let's talk about it. I just want to talk about maybe one or two headlines real quick that we can roll into, and then we'll call it a night. But
let's
first
take out the spoiler tag then.
Oh yeah, spoiler tag. Sorry, I can only see half my monitor because this giant microphone is in front of my face here. All right, so let's talk about Faberflub real quick. We're just going to touch briefly on it. The first Faberflub that I have is did that finish there?
No, your connection got disconnected.
So the first Faberflub that I have is, so for a while now we've known that there's been plans for Deadpool, right? Deadpool to join the MCU in some fashion. But now we're finding out that Ryan Reynolds doesn't really know what the heck's going on. His exact quote is when he was asked about Deadpool in the MCU, it says, "Oh man, I really don't know. It's just all so new with Marvel, with it being over at Marvel now, figuring out the ins and outs, and as much as I can from where I sit, we'll see." A "we'll see" response makes me a little unsettled. How do you guys feel? Do you guys think that Disney, why isn't Disney fast tracking this? How long are we going to have to wait for the reintroduction of Deadpool?
That's a great question. I don't know a lot of Ryan Reynolds' code language. He is a busy guy. He is very popular. He's got a lot of projects. I do believe that Deadpool is something that is close to his heart, though, and I think it's something that he would be willing to produce. In other words, put some money behind on his own in order to make it happen. So it's just a matter of Disney, Marvel finding a space for it in their lineup, which is already jam-packed and been pushed back several months. So I'm not real thrilled with his comment about "we'll see." It doesn't bode well. So hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully they do find a place to put it. Hopefully he even gets some cameos in these other Marvel movies, so that we can see more Deadpool. Deadpool is a bankable property. Ryan Reynolds is definitely the guy to execute the Deadpool vision and bring the fans into the theater. What's that?
I can't imagine anybody else.
Oh yeah, he is dead
now. It's hard to now. Maybe after X-Men Origins Wolverine, you might have been thinking of some other person to play Deadpool, but now that he's done it as well as he's done, it is very difficult. He's becoming inextricably linked to the character,
much like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Yeah, exactly. People who basically adopted the persona. But not only that, they promote the movie, they promote the character, and they're very charming. I mean, Hugh Jackman's a very charming guy. Ryan Reynolds is a very charming guy. So it's really hard to think of anybody else who could do it justice at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully it's not a permanent situation where Deadpool's not moving forward.
I would just say, out of all the Fox property, like, you would think that Disney would want to create that link as quick as they can. And out of all the Fox properties, this is the one property that they've said we're not going to make changes to it. Right? Ryan Reynolds will return as Deadpool. This is what's going to sorry, my daughter came to pay a visit. Max, take care of it. Ryan Reynolds is going to continue to be Deadpool. I mean, we've heard rumors that they've been trying to court Hugh Jackman to come back, which I'm not sure would be real wise unless they want to do some sort of, have Hugh Jackman return and then he gets burnt up in an inferno and comes back as a younger looking self. Or so I don't know. I don't know the history behind Wolverine. I don't see why they would do that, but everybody else is just kind of throwaway. Unless the only one I could think of is maybe Evan Quicksilver.
Yeah, they're not.
He's the only other enjoyable.
They're not
one.
Bringing anybody from Fox except for maybe Ryan Reynolds. I don't think anyone else is.
Yeah, there's nobody else. So you think that they would want to to get something out there before the property kind of grows stale a little bit. If it falls out of people's consciousness, then you run the risk of things getting stale.
Well, I don't think anybody's forgetting about Deadpool. I think the problem is Ryan Reynolds is going to get older, and hopefully he's able to do as many stunts as he needs to do, but getting in shape is really taxing, and even with stunt doubles, it can be really tough to pull off a movie when you're getting older. And so if they're pushing it back 5-10 years, it's going to be really, any more than like a couple of years, it's going to be really tough to keep the continuity going.
Well, he's got to be close to 40 or mid 40s, right? He's somewhere in that 40 to 45-year-old.
He's in his early 40s.
Yeah, so he's getting older. Like, there's going to be a point where he's just not going to be able to do it, because Deadpool is far more acrobatic than Wolverine is. If you could.
Most of the stunts are done by a stuntman with the mask on, right? And Ryan Reynolds doesn't have to do a lot of flips or anything. He doesn't do any flips, but it's like the getting in shape part. Is he going to be cut? Is he going to be jacked up? Because honestly, those guys they don't just work out in the gym; they also have to do steroids. So let's be clear: these guys are juicing. They are juicing.
Yeah.
Oh, none of that is natural. None of it is natural.
Well, Ben Affleck, man, that guy got so big for Batman so fast. There's no other explanation. Like, come on.
And now he's with Ana de Armas.
He is?
Yes.
Yeah. Man alive, that guy. He's freaking hot, dude.
Yeah. All right, Tyler, what do you think about that? Do you think Deadpool's going to return sooner than later?
I hope that he does. And I don't know if this is what they're thinking over at Disney, but like, this was my thoughts on it, is like, when we look at pre-Endgame, a lot of the movies outside of, like, let's say Iron Man 3, for example, a lot of the Marvel movies had elements that led you to the next Marvel movie and understanding a continuing storyline. So if they're going to throw that type of thing in with Deadpool, it's going to be rated R, which is going to make a different audience. You know what I mean? So it might be a little bit difficult to add that in properly. So maybe they're working on that, So that would be my first thought. But with how much money it makes and how much people love it and how much Ryan Reynolds is, I'm sure, pushing to get it moved forward, I would hope that they get that, going sooner rather than later. But
I would almost like it as if Deadpool, like, it was all within the same universe, but it just kind of followed alongside of it. You don't have to watch the Deadpool movies to understand what's going on in the overall story of it, and then maybe have Deadpool appear in some team up movies and stuff like that. I think that's the only way you could do it and really keep it rated R. Other than that, you would have to make him PG-13 if you're going to have this whole continuity thing. So just have them run alongside it, kind of like the one-shots did. They had these one-shots for a couple years that you didn't really have to see to understand what was going on in the main movie storyline.
It would be great if Deadpool narrated all the What If episodes.
It's already Liev Schreiber, I think. Who is it? Who'd they say was doing it?
I don't know.
I want Deadpool to start appearing in Stan Lee's cameos.
Right.
That's my number one choice. But I think they already got somebody that, I think it's Liev Schreiber or something like that, that's doing the What If episodes.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but the final battle sequence in Deadpool, the first Deadpool movie, takes place on the crashed helicarrier.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice that?
That's what. So there was. So when Marvel got the rights to, there was some sort of exchange there. For Doctor Strange, I think they got the rights to use the Living Planet or whatever his name is.
Ego.
Well, Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Is Ego the Living Planet? What's what's
Dormammu?
Yeah, that's the big thing that he's
that's
doing.
From Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
There was some sort of, so Deadpool was able to use images of the helicarrier and Negasonic Teenage Warhead or something to that effect, and Marvel was able to use something else because they traded. There was some negotiations going on that they had to trade some things, and that's why that we got that in Deadpool, and that's why Marvel. I don't know which character it was, but Marvel got to use.
Just when you were talking about them going on about it being like a side part, I was like, oh yeah, they kind of tried to do that with the first one because they had it take place on the crashed helicarrier remains.
Try to link it some way.
Yeah, so that it feels very much MCU adjacent.
Well, that's how the TV shows kind of started out, right? They were just kind of adjacent. Like nothing really affected the main storyline, but you could tell that they were kind of aligned in some way. And then it just all went to hell a year ago.
I wonder if they might be waiting to introduce the new X-Men, since Deadpool's story so far has been so intertwined with the X-Men. And maybe they want to introduce the new MCU X-Men and make some jokes out of it, and that's part of their game plan, maybe.
Well, what if they're trying to do with Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool what they did with Wolverine in the previous decade, where he's this kind of rebel character and he's the most charismatic among them, and so they make him the face. Wolverine became the face of the X-Men rather than Xavier, and kind of led all of those first 3 X-Men movies. And instead of finding someone to replace Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, they just bring in Deadpool as the kind of rebel, charismatic person who is like the reluctant leader of the X-Men. Maybe what if they did something like that?
I think they will, but and I want to. So I like your idea and I like Max's idea, but I think that they're going to use Spider-Man to introduce Deadpool, and then go off and use that to go into an X-Men where Ryan Reynolds is the focal point.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think there's a lot to look at with this quote. I think it could just be a matter of PR. They said if anyone asks you about Deadpool 3, say that you don't know, say something about the merger, and just kind of move on from it.
He probably has to be more secretive now that it's Marvel and not Fox.
He was saying things a while back about the development of the movie, and I have a feeling that someone said, "You're saying too much, stop."
Yeah.
That's kind of the vibe I'm getting here, is that he's just been told to just say he doesn't know. Because it's very possible that what he said before about there being some plans and whatnot are very early, and they are very subject to change, so they don't want to talk about it yet. You know? There's been rumors about Deadpool being in Spider-Man 3. There's been rumors about them developing a 3rd movie. There's been rumors all over the place, and I just think that Marvel's not ready to say anything about it yet.
And Ryan Reynolds doesn't have Benedict Cumberbatch sitting there telling him to shut up like like Tom Holland does.
You know what pisses me off about the whole Benedict Cumberbatch thing? We never once got Robert Downey Jr. and Benedict Cumberbatch to say "no shit, Sherlock" to each other.
Oh yeah,
I wanted that so bad, and it never happened. And then because they have both the Watsons too now. Jude Law was in Captain Marvel, and Martin Freeman was in Black Panther, right? Mm-hmm. They should have had the 4 of them in the room at some point say "no shit, Sherlock."
I think that would have been great.
That would have been cinematic gold, dude.
I have a feeling they shot it in Infinity War and just didn't put it in.
So there was just a couple more things. So Space Jam has a new title, Space Jam: A New Legacy, starring LeBron James and Bugs Bunny. I for one have always been a huge Space Jam fan. I wish that it could have been Kobe Bryant. Obviously, we know why that can't be the case. I'm not a huge Kobe Bryant fan. It just makes sense that it would be Kobe Bryant and LeBron would get his after his playing days. But we have a movie, Space Jam: A New Legacy. I think it's gonna suck, but we'll see. Next piece, we don't have to talk on that one.
We have one that I put in the notes. I hope you're not skipping over that. Because that's good. That's a good conversation. That's the only thing.
Oh yeah. The other thing is the Sony Marvel Universe has a official name. It's called the Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel Characters. So it's no longer called Spider-Verse or whatever the hell else everybody's been calling it.
Spunk.
That's the other Sump. I can't even say SUMC.
Sony Pictures. There's your SP. Spunk.
Yeah, that sounds dirty.
SUMC. So what is it?
That's what they've been calling it. Is Sony Universe Marvel. But now it's SPUMC. So Spunk.
Okay.
Spunk.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Yeah, Spunk sounds like a dirty movie, but we'll see. The last bit of news is Regal and AMC refuse to play Universal movies once the theaters open back up because of what Universal did with Trolls World Tour, releasing it straight to online to the online audience, and they actually made a killing, and then touting how much money they made from that.
Yeah.
And Universal is saying that they're going to try this experiment in the future with a theatrical and an online
and
release.
I think that,
and everybody's pissed.
I think that is where Regal and AMC are mad. I don't think, I mean, I can't speak for them, but I don't think they're as mad that Trolls World Tour was released digitally because we're in a pandemic and that's happening right now. I think it's more the issue of Universal said, yeah, we're going to release stuff to digital, and theaters. And we're going to try that in the future.
Here's
which I think for consumers is great. I just think Regal and AMC are being babies.
Here's the thing. So AMC has an established streaming service right now where you can go on there and you can rent movies. If Universal really wants to try out this formula, get with Regal, get with AMC, and there's another large, I think Cinemark is the other large one, right? There's three, AMC, Regal, and Cinemark, I think. Get with these theater chains and say, we will give you exclusive streaming rights to these movies, for this. Like, it won't be on Amazon. It won't be on anything else. Just make these, you can have an or you make a streaming service with the other big networks and you release all your movies on this and the theaters get a portion of it. There's some solution here that benefits, because the movie theaters need the theater, or the movie production studios need theaters.
Yeah.
And theaters need movie production studios. I think by Regal and AMC saying we're not going to film AMC when Fast and the Furious is one of the largest franchises in the world, and it's coming out next year, and you're not going to release that movie.
Well, I think James Bond is under the Universal umbrella too.
James Bond is MGM.
Okay.
Yeah. There's other ones though. I mean,
but that was going to be my point. Like, they can say right now, yeah, we're not going to show Universal movies. But you mean to tell me you're not going to show Fast and Furious? You are missing out on a lot of money if you say no to Fast and Furious. That's just stupid business.
Not only that, but Invisible Man, I think, was Universal as well, which did pretty well. There's a Universal has a lot of movies, and it's not just Universal. Universal has a bunch of production studios under them.
Mm-hmm.
I just think there's a solution here, and I think Regal and AMC are just being butthurt for no reason.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, these companies always they always do these huge call my bluff moves, and I feel like this is going to ultimately turn out to be one of those, or they're going to try and see if doing this makes it so that Universal loses money. I think it's going to be a temporary thing to where one of them is going to realize we make more money if we're collaborative, and then they're going to collaborate again. And, that's ultimately what happens in these situations. So for the temporary time that they're not showing Universal movies, whatever, but I don't think it's going to be anything permanent.
I don't think it's going to stick. I mean, I just pulled up a list here. So the Jurassic World movies are Universal. Those make big money. Obviously, the Fast and Furious franchise. Those are probably the two biggest franchises for Universal, and they'd be dumb not to show those in theaters. Otherwise, what I'm looking in this list is like stuff that's, there's other big movies: Warcraft, Huntsman, Gladiator was Universal, but the franchises are. Minions,
Despicable Me. Despicable Me is a huge franchise.
Yeah, Trolls.
But I don't know. I think it's all going to blow over. I think everybody's.
Let me ask you guys this. Do you think there's any replacement for movie theaters?
No.
Like, that's an easy date night out, right?
No, I love
that's a go-to for many, many couples across the country.
Absolutely.
It's not just about seeing the movie. I mean, that certainly helps.
About getting away from the kids.
Out of the house. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't think movie theaters are going away permanently.
No way.
It's just a side effect or a byproduct of the fact that we're in quarantine, that Trolls made so much money. But if you had the opportunity to see that in theaters versus seeing it in your living room, which would you choose?
I think Trolls. I think Trolls is a unfair movie to do this experiment with, because I think in my case, since it's a children's movie, I would much rather watch that in my house.
Okay, well let's go. Let's go.
If it was an adult movie, I'd rather go to the theater.
Let's go Jurassic World. Let's say
I'd rather go see that in the theater.
Furious. Let's say Invisible Man. Which one of those are you? You know, if it's a movie that's in your wheelhouse, are you preferring to watch that at home, or are you preferring to watch it at the theater?
I'd prefer to watch it in the theater.
And I think that's what AMC's banking on, is that people want to go out and see it, and so they're like, we'll see if you lose money from this. And then
I don't think that's the play they're making. I think what they're doing is retaliatory rather than proactive, because otherwise they'd say, look, people, if we understand the market, people are going to come back. They're going to come back to the theaters as soon as they can. And so that's why I think AMC and Regal are making a bad move here. It's petty, and you can't fight the future. If the future of movies is video on demand, if the future of movies is digital releases first, it does no good to fight that. If Universal is going to experiment with it, you got to say, yeah, let it happen. We think people would rather get out of the house and come to our theater and watch the movie than sit at home and put the kids to bed before they can enjoy the movie. I think that they're not competing with video on demand. Theaters are not competing with video on demand. They're competing with other nights out, like Top Golf and things like that.
Dinner or something like that. Like you've seen a lot of them introduce
dinner and a movie.
Well, you've seen a lot of them introduce restaurants into their own thing where you can bring it to your seat and stuff, because they're trying to get that market. Right. No, I completely agree with you. But the other reason is too, though, like if you're just one person wanting to watch this movie, you can spend $20 to rent it in your home, or you can spend $10 or whatever it is in your state to go see it at the movie theater. What do you think the normal person would want to do? They'd rather go spend the $10 and go watch it at a movie theater. It's half the price, right?
Maybe.
I think there's circumstances for both. I mean, I definitely don't want to see a Marvel movie for the first time on my TV. I want to go see it in the biggest screen I can possibly find.
Yeah.
I pay extra to go to Dolby.
Can you imagine being as excited for Captain America picking up Mjolnir at home in your living room?
Well, I still get excited just because.
Yeah, you still get excited. Can you imagine experiencing that for the first time on a small screen?
It would have sucked, man. It would have felt like a TV show.
Extraction, I think, is fine on a small screen, but like Extraction would have been a different experience at a movie theater. You know, with the sound in the theater, that big screen. I think with the, you know, when you have a car chase and you have the movie theater surround sound quality, it's a different experience.
Yeah, but definitely would have puckered on that cliff dive.
Yeah, there you go. But I'm not going to stop going to the theater. But we are big movie fans. None of us is going to stop going to the theater. And I think the majority of people would still go to the theater. Most of my friends that don't like to go to the theater will just wait until it comes out on.
They're introverts too. A lot of them too.
And they'll just wait for it to come out. So for them,
my question
is great. Go ahead.
My question to you is: are they spending their time out? Are they going out? If they're waiting for movies to come out for rent,
most of the people are not going out. They're
not
still broke. They don't want to go out, and so they don't go to the movies.
But we also know quite a few introverts that just would rather watch it in their house,
and that's fine. I think the real reason AMC, Regal, they don't like this, and the streaming thing wouldn't work as well. They want your concession money. That's where they make bank. They don't get nearly as much of the ticket price as they get by charging you 500% markup on popcorn. You know. And I'm exaggerating the percentage there, but like they make a lot more on.
I don't know that that's an exaggeration. I think the markup. I think that's an undersell. I think their markup is quite a bit higher.
A can of Monster energy drink at the theater we went to in Colorado was $5.50.
So that's like
$5.50. I can go to Walmart and buy it for $1.70.
No, I'm saying 500% is undershooting it with.
Yes, I agree. No, I was trying to. He was saying, I think I'm exaggerating. I was agreeing with you.
Popcorn costs pennies. A bag of popcorn is pennies to produce.
Oh, yeah. It's dried corn.
And you're buying it for $7, $8, maybe $10 for a big bucket of popcorn. So they are making 10,000%.
Yeah.
Well, AMC gives you unlimited free refills now. It's fantastic.
Yes, that is great.
Free refills on popcorn, unlimited free refills on soda.
But their soda is like $7 to begin with, though.
Yes.
So it's.
I would rather pay Harkins refill prices than the $7 unlimited at AMC.
But I do get like basically unlimited movies for $20 a month too with AMC.
Yeah, you're saving a bunch of money if you go see more than.
I agree.
It's 3 movies a week, so their deal is by far the best, I think.
And then I just sneak in Mountain Dew, so it's all good.
All right, so my point is, AMC Regal Theaters are focusing on the wrong thing. They're focusing on competing movie delivery services when that's not the issue. The issue is people want out of the house for whatever reason. You're not competing with other delivery services. You're competing with other nights out. You're competing with Topgolf. You're competing with, what?
Bowling.
Bowling. You're competing with these escape rooms. Those are the things you're competing with.
What they need to do is try to reinvent the movie-going experience and make it more attractive for people to go spend their night at the movies rather than one of those other things. I think AMC has done a lot of that with their Dolby Cinema. But Harkins, our local movie theater, which is the largest local, I think it's the largest chain in Arizona, Harkins. They have far more locations than AMC. They are completely, they just a couple months ago started doing reserved seats, but their movie theaters are stuffy. There's no, their seating arrangements. They haven't upgraded those in years. AMC has better screens. AMC has better concession offerings. Harkins is just stuck in the same.
The only reason I ever want to go to Harkins is for the concessions.
No, but I'm saying the way AMC does their program, like for the sodas, it's unlimited sodas. I don't think that's as good of a deal as a $1.50 refill. But we're splitting hairs here.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you on Harkins. I prefer to go to Harkins versus anywhere else.
Yeah,
I hate their seats. I won't go to Harkins.
Yeah. Oh, AMC just has other stuff too. They, with being a Stubsless member, I get the special offers or whatever. And I go and I buy I pre-order a pizza on the way there, and the pizza, they have the, little personal pizzas. They're they have deals for that all the time where it's $5 for the personal pizza. And you just go, you don't even have to say anything. You just go up to the little window, has your name on it. You just grab it, walk into the movie theater, and you have your food, so stuff like that is really nice.
And by the way, it's not $1.50 anymore.
That's $2.
It's not $7 for a soda.
But for every 2 I buy, I get a free one.
But there are the ups and downs, but I agree with Lance. The Dolby Digital movies are phenomenal. They're so good. I think everybody needs to work on their seats though, because even AMC, they don't recline very far back. And then if you do recline and you lay your head back, then you're looking at the ceiling, you need this extra pillow to bring with you to be looking forward, so everybody kind of needs to up their game.
Regal has the best recliners in my opinion. Cinemark is followed up second, and then AMC's Dolby Digital.
But we don't really have those choices here.
We don't. But from Colorado, I had a Cinemark right next to my house. I loved their seats. And there was a Regal about 20 minutes from my house, and their seats were the best. But they weren't so good. I wanted to drive 25 minutes. But I do agree. I would love to see Harkins upgrade to those recliners. And because AMC, even just the normal theaters have it here now, right? They have the recliners.
Yeah,
and then
I think we're missing the point that I was trying to make. What I'm trying to say is I would like theaters to focus more on improving the theater going experience, rather than we're splitting hairs on which one's better than the other. The fact of the matter is the movie going experience hasn't really changed.
Yeah, right, and that's what I was trying to say. There are some things we could compare, but AMC has those extra mile things that I think make it convenient, whereas Harkins is taking longer to catch up with that. But it's it is one of those things where I think they could start implementing more to make it a more kind of luxurious and
now would be an amazing time to do it. But I understand they don't have money right now because no one's going.
right.
It would be very difficult. But now that no one's there doing construction would not be.
Well, Harkins is kind of understanding. You know, they're building. It's not a movie theater. It's just Harkins Studio Lot or something like that. It's just a restaurant.
Where?
It's in Phoenix or something like that.
That's
I
cool.
just read it. It's just a restaurant. It's called Harkins Studio or Backlot or something like that. So they're starting to figure out, okay, movies isn't just the main thing that we need to focus on. There's other. We could improve this into an entertainment. An entertainment company rather than just a movie theater company.
Yeah, Fat Cats does that. You go to the Fat Cats and you've got the recliners. You've got a good movie experience. Their concessions kind of suck. But you can have dinner, but they have an arcade. They have bowling. Fat Cats is a really fun place to go on a Friday night or whatever night. You know, that's a really cool place. And I think they've got definitely the right direction there as well. But the point is, I think Regal and AMC are being stupid to try to say we're not going to show your movies, Universal. And I think it's a win-win for consumers if Universal does release on digital. I think it'd be a good thing. But.
So,
and again, it's not about the movie delivery because people want out. People do want out, and a movie theater is an easy place to go. Yeah. And for AMC and Regal to be fussing over whether or not Universal makes more money video on demand right now versus after quarantine ends or after lockdowns end is really stupid. They're really being short-sighted here. So,
we don't even know if AMC is going to return after this whole thing.
Yeah, they may be going bankrupt, but that has little to do with the quarantine. I mean, the quarantine might be the nail in the coffin, but they were struggling before, and that's why I think you guys saying that Harkins needs to do it more like AMC. Well, whatever's working for Harkins, it's not working for AMC.
But the movie-going experience. So Harkins is the largest movie theater chain in the world, right? They have
world
AMC. You're talking about AMC.
AMC. Sorry, AMC is the largest movie theater chain in the world. They have over, I think it was 1,800 screens or something, or 18,000 screens, 1,800 locations or something. They're in Canada. They're a worldwide organization. They've grown to the point where in movie theater going in some of those other countries is not going as well. They've had to do a lot of remodeling and things like that to update some of their older theaters and everything like that. They started in the 1930s or something like that. Like they've been around for decades. I think it's just gotten to the point where they did, because for a while they were stuck in their own ways. I think they just did so much, but did it too late, I think is what AMC's issue is. And people still have this idea that they're old and we don't, because we go to the movies. But if you go to a Dolby Cinema, it's rarely packed, right? They only have one theater within a 100-mile radius that has Dolby with it for us. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They're just not, the offerings are not consistent along all their movie theaters.
Anyway,
yeah,
I think I've made my point many times.
You did. But I think we had a really fun show tonight. I think we had some excellent discussion. The movie was fantastic. Go check it out on Netflix right now. Next week, I think I won't be here, but I think we might be talking about Bad Boys for Life.
We will discuss it.
We're going to discuss it.
Don't bring it up.
I'm not.
You don't know what we're doing, Lance.
I'm not on the show, so I really don't give a shit. But but until next time, everybody. Oh, check out the Facebook. We hit 300 followers yesterday. We really appreciate everybody that's followed the Facebook. Check us out on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube. Check us out at couchcrunchers.com. Keep showing the love. But keep your distance, unlike Max and I here. And until next time, keep on geeking on.
Maxi Pad out.